Town Hall in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, it's eTown with this week's guests. From St. Paul, Minnesota, Charlie Parr. World-famous rock climber Tommy Caldwell. And from Minneapolis, the Cactus Blossoms. I'm Helen Forster. Right now, join me in welcoming our host, Nick Forster.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to eTown. Special thanks to the borrowed bass player from the Cactus Blossoms, Phil Hicks, playing our opening theme. Helen mentioned that both of our musical guests this week come from the Twin Cities in Minnesota. They come from pretty different musical traditions, but they found their homes in a place that has long held a very vibrant musical scene for ages. And those roots are showing. Those roots are going to be audible in what these guys do. Our special sauce this week is the famous rock climber Tommy Caldwell, whose wild adventures we'll get into. Many of you know about him from the film about his first ascent, free climbing the Dawn Wall on El Capitan in Yosemite, an amazing 19-day climb up a sheer rock face. Insane. But he's also here because he's an advocate and defender of the natural world. He's traveling around to talk about climate chaos and his love of nature. So those are some of the ingredients that are going to be part of today's show, so we can get started. I first heard about the Cactus Blossoms while watching David Lynch's relaunch of Twin Peaks. They were performing down at the Roadhouse amidst all kinds of strangeness. It was pretty cool. Their sound was both familiar and contemporary, brother harmony and a nod to early country music and the sounds that I sort of associated with Roy Orbison or the Everly Brothers, but was new songs, new approach, fresh take on a classic sound. They've been at this for a little while, since about 2011. Their latest record is called One Day. Please welcome for their first visit to eTown from Minneapolis, the Cactus Blossoms.
How are y'all doing tonight? All right.
Hey, baby, do you want to take a trip with me? I've got a feeling there might be a silver lining all around. Hey, drive the whole night through, see what this old truck can do. I've only driven it in time. Hey, baby, I hope it all works out. It always works out. place I'd rather be. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Hey, baby, I hope it all works out. It always works out. Hey, baby, I hope it all works out. It always works out.
Thank you so much. So good to be here.
One more kiss, eye to eye. It's never easy, baby, don't you cry. Hold me close, look at the sky, powder blue. There's only you on my mind. You're all I want, baby, all the time. Love so true, love divine, powder blue. Powder blue. Powder blue. Powder blue. Powder Powder blue. Powder blue. Powder blue. Powder love so true, love divine. Only you on my mind.
Hey, Cactus Blossoms, you guys sound great. Great singing. Such a good, cool sound. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Good guitar playing, good guitar sounds. The band sounds great. I did mention that I first heard about you guys on that David Lynch TV show, Twin Peaks. Was that just something that came out of the blue, or how did that even happen?
That came out of the blue. It was a big surprise for us. Well, it was a surprise that they did a third season of Twin Peaks 25 years later.
Right.
And that it lined up with our first record that we really worked on. And we had been joking while recording it because we'd never had electric guitars with tremolo. And
Yeah.
wow, this sounds kind of Twin Peaksy. Maybe
Really?
David Lynch will give us a call.
Wow, did you say that really?
Yeah, but it was a joke. Yeah.
Right. Well, I know that we were paying close attention because our daughter's band, Au revoir Simone, was also one of the bands that was playing at the Roadhouse in that series. And I think you guys taped your segments kind of at the same time, right?
I think they were right before us, maybe.
Yeah, I think everybody but Eddie Vedder and Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
I think all the rest of us, I think we're on the same day.
Yeah.
But this is funny because it was a super secret thing, and we have T-shirts printed by a small independent company, and the guy that owns the place comes up to us while we're picking up boxes of T-shirts and says, "So I heard you were filming Twin Peaks in L.A."
Oh, wow. Wow. So it
And
leaked.
we just stopped in our tracks.
Yeah,
Well,
got out there.
his sons are in another band that we're also on it. So
Yeah.
we've met the fathers now of multiple
Yeah,
bands. So
okay.
we're on that. It's cool.
Yeah. All right. At least there's the generational divide that we're also going to try to cross and bridge tonight.
We got it.
Yeah, we got it. Okay. The beginnings of your band, as I understand it, you guys started a little later than some. Did you have other ideas of what you were going to do with your time before then?
I was so confident that the music thing wasn't a real thing that I was setting my expectations really low in general in life. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
probably going to be destitute,
Yeah.
so I should get a camper now when I'm 24 and learn how to live on the streets so that I can happily make music without having to worry about money,
Yeah.
you know? So this is all a big shock to us
Yeah.
to have anybody buying tickets
Any
to shows.
career, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, we were talking backstage about your earliest show, or one of the very first things you did was sort of coincidentally a part of a Prairie Home Companion radio broadcast from the Minnesota State Fair, where you just sort of accidentally were included in the lineup, and all of a sudden Garrison is talking to you, and you're going, "What is this?"
Yeah. Well, we've been thrown in the deep end of the pool a lot. And I think, so we went home and we're all like, wow, that was crazy and stuff. And then the next day we get a call from the local jazz club. They asked us if we want to open for Marty Stewart too. And we're like,
But you got to be here in an hour.
right. And we're almost like, no, we don't. Like, we don't really want to. This is so scary. So, yeah, but we did it.
Yeah, of course you did. Well, the beautiful thing about being young and foolish and not having jobs is that you can say yes all the time.
You have to.
Yeah. So, what else is going on? So you're on tour, you're traveling, you're playing, you're doing all the things, and the process is that you write songs and then you record them and then you make a record and then you tour your record and you go out and you play, and everybody wants to hear your old songs, but you have new songs, and you want to.
Well, we're not quite there yet.
No.
We're a very DIY operation. We have our own record label, air quotes there. So we're very busy on the back end with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
We got lots of new songs we'd love to play for you, but we don't want people recording video at our shows of us flailing around.
I see, yeah.
But we're excited to play some of this new stuff soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, we look forward to that. And meanwhile, I just think it's cool. I love the idea that, first of all, being brothers and singing like that, it is an absolutely identifiable sound and powerful. It's profound. It's something that's uniquely satisfying to the human ear to hear the sibling harmony thing. It's super cool. And I also really like the idea of you guys being DIY out there, just observing and capturing moments and stories and writing them and sharing them when they finally do come out with your new songs. So keep it up. Good luck. Glad you finally made it. We've been trying to make this happen for a while.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
let's get back to
so
music.
much.
Welcome back, if you would, the Cactus Blossoms.
No one could come between us. We were as close as we could be. I always thought I call yours, I hope you do the same. Nowhere to go, taking it slow, worlds apart. I hope you don't mind spending some time with a lonely heart. Someday I'll find somebody new and leave my loneliness behind. Can we keep this between me and you? What I want is hard to find. Running around out on the town on my own, having a time forgetting that I'm alone. Nowhere to go, taking it slow, worlds apart. I hope you don't mind spending some time with the lonely heart. I hope you don't mind spending some time with the lonely heart.
Thank you.
That's the Cactus Blossoms. Jack Torrey, Paige Burkham, Jacob Hansen, Phil Hicks, Jeremy Hansen on the drums. They'll be back to play some more music later on in the show.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, one of the largest cultural funding mechanisms in the United States, supporting nearly 300 organizations in the greater Denver, Colorado area. And just a reminder for your viewing enjoyment, there are over 2,000 videos on the eTown YouTube channel. Now, you can also subscribe there if you'd like to stay up to date with our latest video offerings. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. You're listening to eTown. Cactus Blossoms. We'll be back to play some more music later on in the show. And by the way, we have a brother duet singing up front. The drummer and the lead guitar player are also brothers. And the bass player is their cousin. So it's a shallow gene pool up there on stage, but incredibly talented. No, they'll be back to play some more music later on. And we've also got Charlie Parr is here, just a wonderful, rootsy poet, author, singer-songwriter. He'll be up in a little while. First, I mentioned that Tommy Caldwell is here. He's a famous rock climber. He grew up in Colorado. His parents were both mountain guides and climbers. His dad was a bodybuilder, and he took him into the wilderness when he was really little, like 2 years old, in a snow cave. He became a climbing sensation as a teenager. He was famously kidnapped with 3 other climbers in 2000 when he was in Kyrgyzstan, held hostage for 6 days. He escaped after Tommy pushed his captor off a cliff. Crazy, crazy stuff. He went on to become what National Geographic described as arguably the best all-around rock climber on the planet, despite cutting off half of his index finger in a table saw accident. I mean, there's some drama here, folks. There's some drama. The Dawn Wall free climb really cemented his reputation. He now travels and speaks to different groups. He lobbies in Washington. He still rock climbs, of course, with his friends and family. Please welcome to eTown from Estes Park, Colorado, Tommy Caldwell. Welcome, Tommy. I know that's just like the tiny little synopsis of your story, but I had to get some stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Man, thank you for the invitation tonight. Any chance to be on stage with musicians is something just brings a coolness vibe to my life that you don't normally get in climbing.
Hey, I was talking about your dad, mountain guide, bodybuilder, adventurer, fearless guy, and I'm just imagining growing up with a guy who was so huge. And I wonder if that was intimidating or inspiring for young Tommy Caldwell.
Both.
Yeah.
Besides being a bodybuilder and a climber, he was also a middle school teacher. So he was always thinking about, how to make kids thrive in this world. And so I think I was pretty lucky to grow up with that as an example.
A long time ago, maybe 25 years ago or more, I was able to interview Yvon Chouinard from Patagonia on eTown. Cool. And as I think about people who helped shape you and inspire and influence you and your path, I suspect Yvon Chouinard is on the list.
Yeah, a lot of the climbs that I go do, a lot of the cliffs that I climb on, he and his friends climbed the first ascents. They were the first ones to explore these mountains. And so my generation is able to reinvent them, but we always look towards kind of that generation with a lot of admiration.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to sort of size up the pathway that would allow them to accomplish what they did.
Yeah, and that transcends climbing and now goes into, trying to protect our home planet. And so, weirdly, when we go to these remote places, we see the impact very acutely. We go back to the same places year after year after year, and we see how they're changing. And so you figure at some point that if you have a chance to make a difference, you will try.
Yeah. You're talking about the impact of other climbers, the impact of climate change.
Climate change is the main impact that I worry about.
And so when you go to Washington to lobby or when you go to different places to speak, what are you talking about? What are you advocating for? What are you defending?
Generally, it's land protection issues these days. Like, if I hear of a threatened area that also has climbing, I just go. Like, I do a trip there. So this is a big part of my life these days. I plan these expeditions. I go to these remote places. I go to climb the mountains, but I also bring a bit of a film crew and tell stories and write articles and make movies about them. And so that's how we kind of raise this broader awareness. Because I think people don't really like to hear climate change stories. They're kind of a bummer, They're kind of sad stories. So if you can mix it with this like adventure vibe, it makes it more fun and then therefore a little more impactful for people to remember what is needed to be done to protect these places.
What's the next step? Because I feel like there's been a lot of films about celebrating what's beautiful and that we should do something. Are there organizations or websites or places where you suggest people participate in order to help preserve and protect the land that you celebrate?
I'm going to suggest one thing. It's to find something sort of local. And actually, Patagonia has this incredible tool called ActionWorks, where you could just go on their website and type in your zip code, and it tells you about all the environmental nonprofits in your area, and then that gets you involved in that community. You can find out who they are. You can donate money. You can donate your expertise if you want. But more than that, it gives you a community of people that are trying to do good things.
Yeah, and it's local, which is important.
Yeah, I think local issues are going to be the things that you make the most impact on and therefore stay the most motivated for.
Yeah. And yet there are also opportunities for policy changes and sweeping legislation that can protect, millions of acres and such. So I imagine that's why you go to D.C. and hang out with senators and congresspeople.
Yeah, I never wanted to have anything to do with politics, that's for sure. But once you go a few times, you kind of understand that that's how the cake is sliced. And if you want to make an impact, you got to poke your head into that world on occasion.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, I think it's an amazing, thus far, it's just an unbelievable success you've achieved. Hard fought, unbelievably hard fought battles and lots of danger and risk. But it's great that you're now, harnessing that notoriety and that experience and channeling it into a direction that can actually be beneficial to not just all of us now, but certainly your kids and their generation. It's important work. Patagonia.
ActionWorks.
Just go to Patagonia and look for ActionWorks.
Yeah, it'll be there. And yeah, I mean, you're doing the same thing, trying to utilize music and things to bring awareness to other things as well. So it's great to be here with you.
Yeah, well, thanks, Tommy. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Love learning about your story. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. We're going to have more music from the Cactus Blossoms coming up right now. I want to tell you about our next guest. Charlie Parr was born and raised in southern Minnesota, where his dad had worked at the Hormel meatpacking plant. Before that, his dad rode the rails all over the country. He was a serious fan of old country blues artists like Mississippi Fred McDowell and Son House and Bukka White and Elizabeth Cotten and more. Charlie moved up to Minneapolis. He fell into a cool musical scene there that involved some of his heroes like Spider John Kerner and Tony Glover and Dave Ray. He moved to Duluth and raised a kid, worked as an advocate for the homeless. He was playing guitar 8 hours a day, and then after he had kids, he started playing a little less than that. He's now back in the Twin Cities, living in St. Paul. He's a very well-respected songwriter, an author who tours all the time and still finds time to practice. His debut novel, called The Last of the Better Days Ahead, came out last year. And his 18th studio record, called Little Sun, just came out last month. So please welcome for his first visit to eTown, Charlie Parr.
Thank you.
How can you say he's gone astray? The days find him alone, many miles from anywhere, never finding his way home. How can you say he's always dirty? He's got nowhere to wash. Everyone avoids him, no matter what the cost. To his damaged ego, to his worn out shoes, thin clothes against the cold, thin hearts against his own. Let the rope out easy, bring everyone on board. Mend the broken hearts, take on their heavy loads. Take on their heavy loads. Take on their heavy loads. Mend the broken hearts, take on their heavy loads. He hears about your religion and all about his sinful ways, and all about the God who loves him but will punish him anyways. But he already knows the lake of fire. He swims in it every day. He's beaten down with neglect and burned with hypocrisy. How can you say there's a stray in the middle of your town? He can feel the anger in your eyes, where empathy should be found. Here he's lost his family, or they let him
wander away. Can anyone speak on his behalf? Or has someone rigged the game? Let the rope out easy, bring everyone on board, mend the broken hearts, take on their heavy loads, take on their heavy loads, take on their heavy loads, mend the broken hearts, take on their heavy loads. Put these guys through a lot of crap today. And I'm sorry about that. But I play by myself most of the time. It's startling when someone else is on stage. So, but I appreciate it. I'm not dangerous or anything. Just... Can't see, let me get my feed for free, but ain't that the way it is? Listen, I cut out down a gravel road, traded my stock for a V8 Ford. That's 410 down the floorboard, and the title throw down to me. That gasoline ain't free, this clutch is wearing out my knee. Ain't that the way it is? Bust my jaw if I talked to his sister again. He told me I would win. Now there's blood running out of my chin. Ain't that the way it is? I spent all night on a barroom floor, and I woke this morning my head was sore. Pockets empty, but I want some more bar. Man got my call, and the tabs would more by far. And I'll leave it down at the bar and say, ain't that the way it is? Farm. Times are hard here and I can't roam, and I ain't got nothing more load. I owe the company store, but the road is looking good for sure. Ain't that the way it is? Well, I worked all summer, couldn't save a cent. I gave all of my money to the government, and I don't know quite how I got spent, but the bank comes from my deed. Man at the mill can't see, let me get my feed for free. Ain't that the way it is? Thank you, everybody.
Charlie Parr, welcome to eTown. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Am I right that you did some work as either an advocate or involved with homeless communities in either Twin Cities or Duluth or wherever?
Both, yeah.
Both, yeah.
I was an outreach worker. We took out blankets, hot food, coffee, basic first aid supplies.
Right.
We contracted with the local Veterans Administration. 37% of our homeless population or more now are veterans, and we would help them get services. We took out resources, psychiatric resources. We took out nurses, just anybody that would come and help us.
And did you do it long enough and in the same location often enough to where you get to know people's names and get to see the same folks? And
Definitely, yeah. We served between 400 and 500 people a day, primarily serving people who were currently living out of doors, meaning that there was no more shelter space for them, so they were forced to live out, sleeping outside at night.
yeah. Did that occupy a lot of your time for a long time, that work?
It did, yeah.
Was your gig?
Many years,
Yeah.
through a move up to Duluth, and then we had a son, and I was gigging at night and trying to work during the day, and it was not working anymore, and so I took a hiatus, which I'm still on.
Yeah. And but those stories stay with you, and those connections and those relationships and the opportunity to develop both empathy and to some extent just frustration around the situation.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a bigger issue now than it was when you were doing this work.
definitely.
Yeah. And those stories find their way into some of your songs.
It finds its way into everything that I do. It definitely affected me in profound ways.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that your dad was sort of a pathway for you to discover and experience some of the country blues music that became the soundtrack to your life in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were a kid, when you're hearing these songs and maybe stories from your dad's record collection and stuff, were there people that you said, I want to play guitar like that guy?
My guy was Mance Lipscomb.
Mance Lipscomb.
Dad had that Texas Songster LP, and I pretty much wore it flat. That's why I wanted to get a guitar when I was 8 years old, and I asked Dad if I could have a guitar, and I think he said nobody can play like Mance. I went anyway, so he traded a Johnson 99 boat motor for a Gibson 12 string, which I was appalled because I did not want 12 strings. I only wanted 6 of them. But Dad said, that was the best trolling motor I've ever had. You'd better learn how to play that thing. So I took 6 of the strings off of it, and I sat in front of the stereo and listened to Mance Lipscomb and tried to play along.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this also. When you're a teenager and now you're deep in and you've got your 12-string pared down to a 6 and you're learning all these songs, did you have anybody in your school class that actually understood what the heck you were up to?
Austin, Minnesota, where I grew up, had an amazing record collection in the public library. And they had what looked like a complete set of Folkways records, including the Harry Smith anthology. And these were the days when you went to the library and there was a little card with people's names on it. And you could see, and Austin was not a big town, so you could see who's listening to the music you liked and go find that person and say, Blind Lemon Jefferson, and they would say, yeah. So.
I've never heard that before, but that's so obvious. That's so cool. I love that. Analog sleuthing.
Mm-hmm.
Find your people.
Yeah,
it makes a difference because, it doesn't take many. If you have one or two people who can share that obsession or that passion, it's really all it takes to keep it going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, when did you start writing songs? How old were you when you did that?
My dad passed away in 1995. And prior to that, all I wanted to do was play and learn these old styles and learn these old songs. And Dad was instrumental in that. And then when he passed away, the grief that I had about that was so profound. It was something that caved my whole world in. I couldn't write about it. The grief counselor says, journal about it or whatever. And I wasn't comfortable with that. I ended up writing things that looked like songs. And so my first songs were all about the stories that my dad told me about his youth and trying to remember them. And songs are a good way to remember things. So songs are about my dad.
That's very cool. Well, listen, I'm thrilled that you're here. Really glad that you made it to eTown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Please welcome back, if you would, Charlie Parr.
Thank you. There's a woman next door out on a porch with a boombox blasting, pole poles sliding dancing slow in her woolly socks so that she slides across the wooden floor through the dusk. When I'm dancing, this is how I dance. Let the music move me this way and that. If you ever dance, I can appreciate that. Yeah, when I'm dancing, this is how I dance. There's a bar downtown where they play the blues on a tiny stage near the corner booth. Close your eyes, you can feel the groove, and you can dance even if you don't move. Well, when I'm dancing, this is how I dance. Let the music move me this way and that. If you ever dance, I can appreciate that. Oh, but when I'm dancing, this is how I dance. I have a friend, he can't play a single note, but the music gets right down into his soul. He can hear it play no matter where it goes. You'd hear it too if you just listen now. Yeah, oh, when I'm dancing, this is how I dance. Let the music move me this way and that. If you ever dance, I can appreciate that. But when I'm dancing, this is how I dance. And I'm alone now, that's alright. I've done what I've done, and it feels just fine. I can dance my memory all in my mind. Take a turn in my own time. When I'm dancing, this is how I dance. Let the music move me this way and that. If you ever dance, I can appreciate that. But when I'm dancing, this is how I dance. When I'm dancing, this is how I dance. Let the music move me this way and that. Ah, if you ever dance, Lord, I can appreciate that. But when I'm dancing, this is how I dance. Thank you, everybody.
That's Charlie Parr from St. Paul, Minnesota. The record is called Little Sun, out on Smithsonian Folkways Records, along with eTones, Adam Bodine, Christian Teal, Helen Forster, Charlie Parr. Great stories and songs. Thank you.
This portion of eTown is made possible by the Bohemian Foundation, building stronger communities through the bohemian qualities of creativity and imagination on the web at bohemianfoundation.org. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. You're listening to eTown. I want to say hello to our folks who are listening right now on stations like KMUN in Astoria, Oregon, on WWCF in Hagerstown, Maryland, and on KSYM down in San Antonio, Texas. Thanks for tuning in. As always, if you want more information about any of the stuff that's going on at eTown, you want to find out how to get tickets to live shows, there's lots of information on our website, eTown.org. Don't forget also to check out our YouTube channel where there are a few thousand great videos that you can enjoy. So we are now into the home stretch. It's clear that both Charlie Parr and the Cactus Blossoms, and especially Tommy Caldwell, certainly influenced by their parents. We are all influenced by our parents. And it's cool that those guys especially were able to sort of capture the essence of what their dads had to offer and then made it their own and ran with it. I certainly, like all of you, learned stuff from my parents. My dad was not much of a talker. He went away to boarding school when he was 10. He went to college when he was 16. He went to World War II when he was 18. Married young, rode the train into New York every morning from our house, which was on his family farm that he grew up on. He was ethical and smart and educated. He did not understand why I didn't go to college and decided to play music, but he got there eventually. It took a while. He retired to Florida, and he would proudly wear both his Hot Rise and eTown baseball caps on the golf course. After a while, he, were he still around, would turn 100 tomorrow. So that's my dad. So we all try to make sense of it as we go along as best we can. So right now, would you please help me welcome back to the eTown stage, the Cactus Blossoms.
All right, we're gonna get Nick up here on the steel guitar. The pedal steel. It's much harder than the regular steel. It's like a regular steel if it was a helicopter, right? All right, this one's called Adios Maria.
Beautiful flowers are all that I dream of. You don't know what you've got, so you want what you can't take. I love to laugh at all the hours, all the jokes that I know some way make you sour. Adios, Maria, I'll meet you in paradise. Run my hands through your hair at the break of sunrise. Adios, Maria, I'll meet you in paradise. If the good Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. New Orleans town, on my way up to Austin. Dominoes was my game till the day that I lost them. It's a short road here that goes a lot longer. North to south, it's the same. High water will drown you. Adios, Maria, I'll meet you in paradise. Run my hands through your hair, the break of sunrise. Adios, Maria, I'll meet you in paradise. If the good Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. There's a man that I know, hill country of Texas. His name is Ulysses, and he's grown to respect us. He lives his life so men can see. It's a troubled heart and a worried mind that brings you to fear it. Adios, Maria, I'll meet you in paradise. Run my hands through your hair, the break of sunrise. Adios, Maria, I'll meet you in paradise. If the good Lord is willing and the creek don't rise.
Cactus Blossoms. Jack Dory on guitar. Paige Burkham on guitar and vocals. Of course, Jacob Hansen on guitar. Phil Hicks on the bass. Jeremy Hansen on the drums. Their record out on Walkie Talkie Records, which of course their own label called One Day. Get it directly from them. Cactus Blossoms from Minneapolis. We have time for one more song. We're going to do one more song. I want to get everybody out here. I want to thank all our guests this week. Special thanks to the Cactus Blossoms coming out from Minneapolis. Thanks to our interview guest, Tommy Caldwell, legendary rock climber and filmmaker and environmental advocate champion. Thanks to the eTones and Helen Forster. Thanks to Charlie Parr. We are going to do one more song together. Actually, two more songs. But they're combined. And it's going to be good. I'm Nick Forster. Hope you can be with us next week right here in eTown.
Oh, you rise if you want to hear the story told about a brave in the name, Mr. Casey Jones. That rider's name, come we hear the rider won his fame, he won his fame. Ah, come hear the rider won his fame with. Early Sunday morning, getting the rain. Round the corner, come a passing the train. Under the throttle was a Casey Jones. He's a brave in the name, but he's dead and gone. He's dead and gone. Oh, he's a brave in the name, but he's dead and gone. Mrs. Casey Jones, she dreamt a dream. She dreaming about a sewing machine, and the needle broke and it would not sew. She loved Mr. Casey. She told me so. She told me so. She loved Mr. Casey, she told me so. Blue moon up, Kentucky, keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gonna let the blue. Blue moon up, Kentucky, keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gonna let the blue. It was on one moonlight night, stars shining bright, whispered from on high. Kentucky, keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gonna say goodbye.
This is a production of eTown.